The rain hammered against the window like secrets demanding to be told. And in the dim light of his apartment, Raj stared at his own reflection, wondering if a man could love someone so deeply that it would destroy him. Tonight, everything would change. He just didn't know it yet. 2 years, that's how long Raj had been building a life around Priya's laughter, her gentle corrections when he mispronounced English words, and the way she hummed old songs while grading papers. She was more than the woman he loved. She was his peace in a world that demanded too much. Raj worked long hours at the software company in Bengaluru's tech district, writing code that connected strangers across the world, but the only connection that mattered to him was the one he shared with Priya. Every evening, he would walk to her school, lean against the gate, and wait for her to emerge with that bright smile that made every difficult day worthwhile. "You're late again," she would tease, adjusting her sari with one hand while balancing a stack of notebooks with the other. "Traffic?" he would lie, knowing full well he had left work early just to stand there longer, watching her interact with parents and students who adored her. Their love was quiet but solid, built on small moments that felt eternal. Sunday mornings at the temple, sharing breakfast at the corner cafe where the owner knew their usual order, evening walks around Cubbon Park, where they planned a future that seemed as certain as sunrise. Priya taught 3rd grade at a government school, and her dedication to those children was something that made Raj fall deeper in love with her every day. She would stay late to help struggling students, spend her own money on supplies, and talk about each child as if they were her own. "Teaching isn't just my job," she had told him once. "It's my calling. These children need someone who believes in them." That's what Raj loved most about her, her ability to see potential where others saw problems, hope where others saw hardship. They had talked about marriage, of course, not in grand gestures or dramatic proposals, but in the quiet way couples do when they're certain of each other. They would have a simple ceremony, a small flat near her school, maybe children of their own someday. But tonight, as the rain continued its relentless rhythm and Raj's phone buzzed with another message from his mother, he realized that some dreams are more fragile than they appear. The message was brief. "Your father and I have found a suitable girl. Her family is coming to see you next month." Raj set the phone down and returned to his reflection in the window. Somewhere across the city, Priya was probably preparing lesson plans for tomorrow, humming that song she always hummed, completely unaware that their perfect world was about to crack. 3 days had passed since that message, and Raj carried the weight of it like a stone in his chest, growing heavier with every moment he spent with Priya. She noticed, of course, love has a way of making people sensitive to the smallest changes. "You seem distant lately," Priya said as they sat in their usual spot at the cafe. Her fingers traced the rim of her coffee cup, a nervous habit Raj had learned to recognize. "Just work pressure," he replied, hating how easily the lie came. "New project deadline." But Priya's eyes, those deep brown eyes that had seen through every excuse he'd ever attempted, remained unconvinced. She nodded slowly, the way teachers do when they know a student isn't telling the truth but choose to wait for honesty instead of forcing it. The pressure from home had intensified. His mother called twice daily now, each conversation a carefully orchestrated campaign. "Beta, this girl is perfect for you. She's from our community, well-educated, and her father owns 3 textile shops. Think about your future." "Ma, I've told you." "And think about us, Beta. Your father is not getting younger. We want to see you settle before..." The sentence always ended there, hanging like a threat neither of them wanted to complete. His father, usually the silent type, who preferred actions to words, had started joining these conversations with heavy sighs and meaningful looks. The pressure wasn't just emotional anymore. It felt like a moral obligation, a debt he owed to the people who had sacrificed everything to give him opportunities. Meanwhile, Priya continued her daily routines with the same dedication, but Raj noticed the small changes. She laughed a little less freely, asked fewer questions about his day, and sometimes he caught her watching him with a mixture of love and concern that made his stomach twist. One evening, as they walked through the crowded streets of Commercial Street, Priya suddenly stopped in front of a jewelry store. "Do you think we want the same things, Raj?" she asked, her voice barely audible above the traffic.
What do you mean? I mean, do you think love is enough, or do other things matter more? The question hit him like a punch. Here was his opening, the moment to tell her everything, to share the burden that was slowly destroying his ability to sleep, eat, or think clearly. Instead, he took her hand and smiled. Of course love is enough. Why would you even ask that? She squeezed his fingers gently, but her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. No reason, just wondering. That night, Raj lay awake staring at the ceiling, his phone buzzing intermittently with messages from his cousin who was helping arrange the meeting with the other family. Rajbai, her name is Kavitha. She's a chartered accountant, very fair, very traditional. The families are excited to meet. Each message felt like another nail in the coffin of his happiness. But what choice did he have? His parents had given up their dreams so he could pursue his. They had worked multiple jobs, lived in tiny apartments, and never complained. His success was their success. His happiness, their happiness. Or so he had always believed. The next morning, Priya seemed to sense his inner turmoil. She prepared his favorite breakfast without being asked, hummed his favorite song while getting ready, and kissed his forehead in a way that felt both loving and desperate. I have something to tell you, she said as they walked toward her school. Raj's heart stopped. What is it? The principal offered me a position at a private school. Better pay, better facilities. I turned it down. Why? Because I love my students. They need me. Money isn't everything, is it? Her words were innocuous, but Raj heard the deeper message. Priya was telling him that she understood the value of loyalty, of putting others' needs before your own desires. She was also telling him that she trusted him to do the same with their relationship. As he watched her disappear through the school gates, Raj realized that his silence wasn't protecting anyone anymore. It was slowly poisoning everything he held dear.
The message that would destroy everything arrived on a Thursday afternoon, hidden in plain sight like a weapon disguised as a gift. Priya had borrowed Raj's phone to call her mother. Hers had died during her lunch break. And as she scrolled through his contacts, a notification popped up that made her blood turn cold. Arrangement confirmed. Kavitha's family will visit Sunday. Mother is preparing special lunch. Time to make the family proud, Beta. This is what Papa wants. The words blurred as Priya read them again and again, hoping she had misunderstood. But there was no misunderstanding the name Kavitha, or the word arrangement, or the finality in that message from Raj's cousin. Her hands trembled as she set the phone down on the staff room table. Around her, other teachers continued their conversations about weekend plans and student evaluations, but their voices seemed to come from another world, a world where love wasn't a lie and trust wasn't a joke. 2 years. 2 years of planning a future that apparently existed only in her imagination. Are you all right, Priya? Asked Mrs. Kumar, the senior teacher who had become like an older sister to her. You look pale. I'm fine, she managed, though she felt anything but fine. She felt like someone who had been living in a beautiful dream and had just been shaken awake to find herself in a nightmare. The rest of the afternoon passed in a haze. She taught her classes, smiled at her students, helped with homework, but part of her mind remained fixed on that message. Every explanation she tried to create crumbled under the weight of those clear, unambiguous words. When Raj arrived at the school gate that evening with his usual smile, Priya felt something break inside her chest. Ready for our evening walk? He asked, reaching for her hand. She let him take it, but the touch that had always felt like coming home now felt like a betrayal. How could he smile at her like that when he was planning to marry someone else on Sunday? Actually, I'm quite tired today, she said, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. Maybe we should skip the walk. Are you feeling sick? You do look a little pale. The concern in his voice almost broke her resolve. This was Raj, the man who remembered her favorite flowers, who brought her tea when she worked late, who listened to her stories about difficult students with genuine interest. How could this same person be planning to abandon her for an arranged marriage? I'm just tired, she repeated. Can we go home? The ride back to her apartment was quiet, filled with the kind of silence that feels heavy with unspoken words. Raj kept glancing at her, clearly sensing something was wrong, but not knowing how to ask.
When they reached her building, Priya turned to him with a smile that felt like it might shatter her face. "I think I need some space for a few days," she said, "to think about things." "Think about what things? Priya, what's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I just need some time." She kissed his cheek, a gesture that felt like goodbye, though she couldn't bring herself to say the word, and walked into her building without looking back. That night, Priya sat on her small balcony staring at the city lights and trying to process the magnitude of her heartbreak. She had known that Raj came from a traditional family, had known that arranged marriages were common, but she had believed that their love was stronger than tradition. Apparently, she had been wrong. The worst part wasn't even the betrayal. It was the pity. The thought that Raj had been going through the motions with her, probably feeling sorry for her, maybe even planning how to break the news gently after his family meeting was successful. Her phone buzzed with messages from him. "Priya, please talk to me. I know something's wrong. Let me help. I love you. Whatever this is, we can work through it." Each message felt like salt in an open wound. How could he write "I love you" while preparing to marry someone else? Priya turned off her phone and made a decision that would have seemed impossible just hours earlier. She would not be the pathetic girlfriend who begged and pleaded and made scenes. She would not give Raj the burden of having to explain why his family's choice was more important than their love. She would simply disappear from his life as quietly as she had entered it. The next morning, Priya called in sick to school for the first time in 3 years. She spent the day planning her exit from Raj's life with the same methodical approach she used to plan her lessons. She would change her phone number, she would request a transfer to another school, maybe even another city. She would leave before he could leave her, with whatever dignity she had left intact. By evening, she convinced herself that this was the kindest thing she could do for both of them. Raj could marry Kavitha with no guilt, and Priya could start healing from a love that had turned out to be an illusion. She just hadn't expected it to hurt this much.
Saturday arrived like a funeral march, slow and inevitable. Raj hadn't slept in 2 days. Priya's phone went straight to voicemail. Her school said she was sick, and when he went to her apartment, her landlady told him she hadn't seen her since Thursday evening. It was as if the woman he loved had simply vanished from the earth. "You look terrible," his mother observed when she called to confirm Sunday's lunch arrangements. "Are you eating properly?" "I'm fine, Ma." "Good. Tomorrow is very important. Kavitha's family is traveling from Mysore especially to meet you. Her father is bringing his entire family. We cannot disappoint them." Raj closed his eyes, feeling the weight of expectations pressing down on him like a physical force. "Ma, I need to tell you something." "Not now, beta. I'm busy with preparations. We'll talk after you meet Kavitha. I'm sure you'll like her." The line went dead, leaving Raj alone with his growing panic. Where was Priya? What had happened to her make her disappear so suddenly? He replayed their last conversation 100 times, searching for clues he might have missed. Sunday morning arrived with cruel brightness, as if the sun was mocking his misery. Raj put on the white kurta his mother had bought specifically for this occasion and tried to prepare himself for the most difficult day of his life. The meeting was everything his parents had hoped it would be. Kavitha was indeed beautiful, well-educated, and charming. She spoke perfect English, made intelligent conversation, and even complimented his mother's cooking. Under different circumstances, Raj might have appreciated her qualities. Today, he could barely focus on her words because every smile she gave him felt like a betrayal of the woman he truly loved. "So Raj," Kavitha's father said, "what are your thoughts about marriage?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Raj looked around the room, at his beaming parents, at Kavitha's expectant family, at Kavitha herself, who was watching him with hopeful eyes. "I think marriage should be based on love and understanding," he said finally. "Of course," Kavitha's father laughed. "Love comes after marriage, isn't it? That's how it worked for all of us." "But what if someone already loves someone else?" Raj asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The room fell silent. His mother's smile froze on her face. "Beta," his father said carefully, "what are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm in love with someone else. Her name is Priya, and I want to marry her." The explosion of voices that followed was immediate and chaotic. Kavitha's family looked shocked and offended. His mother began crying. His father's face turned red with embarrassment and anger. "How could you humiliate us like this?" his mother sobbed. "We invited these people to our home. We made promises." "I never made any promises," Raj said, standing up. "I'm sorry, but I cannot marry Kavitha. I respect her, but I don't love her." He turned to Kavitha, who was sitting very still,
her face pale but composed. "I'm truly sorry. You deserve someone who can love you completely." "Where are you going?" his father shouted as Raj headed toward the door. "To find the woman I love." But finding Priya turned out to be harder than declaring his love for her. Her apartment was empty. Her landlady said she had paid 2 months' rent in advance and left with a suitcase. And the school principal reluctantly admitted that Priya had requested an immediate transfer to their sister school in Chennai. She seemed very upset, very unlike her usual self. Chennai. Priya had gone to Chennai, 8 hours away by train. Raj stood outside her empty apartment as the sun set, finally understanding the magnitude of what had happened. Somehow, Priya had learned about the arranged marriage meeting. Somehow, she interpreted his silence as betrayal. And somehow, he had lost the most important person in his life because he had been too cowardly to tell her the truth. His phone rang. His mother. "Come home immediately," she said, her voice cold. "We need to discuss your behavior." "I'm going to Chennai," Raj said instead. "What?" "I'm going to find Priya and bring her back, and then I'm going to marry her, with or without your blessing." "Raj, listen to me." "No, Ma, for once, you listen to me. I've spent my whole life trying to make you and Papa happy. I got good grades, I got a good job, I sent money home every month, but I will not sacrifice the woman I love for anyone's idea of what my life should look like." He hung up and immediately called the railway station. The next train to Chennai left in 3 hours.
The train to Chennai felt like the longest journey of Raj's life, every kilometer stretching between him and the truth he should have shared months ago. He found her at the sister school on Tuesday morning, teaching a class of unfamiliar children who didn't yet know her gentle ways or infectious laugh. Through the classroom window, he watched her write on the blackboard, and his heart broke a little more at how tired she looked, how her usual brightness seemed dimmed. When the bell rang and children rushed out for recess, Raj stepped into the classroom. Priya looked up and froze, her chalk hovering halfway to the board. "How did you find me?" "It doesn't matter. Priya, we need to talk." "There's nothing to talk about." Her voice was steady, but he could see her hands trembling slightly. "I hope you and Kavitha will be very happy together." The name hit him like a slap. "You know about Kavitha?" "I saw the message on your phone. About the family visit, about making your parents proud." "I understand, Raj. I really do." "No," he said, stepping closer. "You don't understand. You don't understand anything. I understand that you've been lying to me for months while planning your arranged marriage. I understand that I was foolish enough to believe we had a future together." The pain in her voice was unbearable, but what hurt even more was the resignation. She had given up on them completely. "I refused them," Raj said desperately. "I told both families I wouldn't marry Kavitha because I'm in love with you." Priya's eyes widened slightly, but she shook her head. "You don't have to lie to make me feel better." "I'm not lying. I walked out of the meeting. I told everyone I want to marry you." "Then why didn't you tell me about it before? Why did I have to find out by accident?" This was the question he had dreaded, the one that would require him to reveal the ugly truth about his cowardice and selfishness. "Because I was scared," he admitted. "I was scared that if I told you about the pressure from my family, you would feel like you had to compete with their expectations. I was scared you would think our love wasn't strong enough to survive that kind of opposition. So instead, you decided to handle it all by yourself, without giving me a chance to fight for us? I was trying to protect you." "Protect me?" Her voice rose for the first time. "Or protect yourself from having to choose?" The accusation hung between them like a sword. Before Raj could respond, his phone rang. His cousin's name flashed on the screen. Raj almost ignored it, but something made him answer. "Raj Pai, where are you? You need to come home immediately." "I'm in Chennai. I'm not coming home until—" "It's Uncle. He collapsed this morning. He's in the hospital." The world tilted sideways. "What?" "The doctors are running tests, but it doesn't look good. Auntie is asking for you." Raj's legs gave out and he sank into one of the small plastic chairs meant for children. Priya, despite everything, moved toward him instinctively. "What is it?" she asked softly. "My father, he's in the hospital." The train back to Bangalore was a blur of anxiety and regret. Priya had insisted on coming with him despite everything that had happened between them. "Whatever our problems are, this is bigger than us," she had simply said. At the hospital, they found his mother sitting outside the ICU, looking older than he had ever seen her. "Ma, what happened?"
He's been hiding it for months, she said, her voice hollow. The chest pains, the fatigue. He didn't want to worry anyone. The doctor says... She couldn't finish the sentence. Says what, Ma? Says it's his heart. Says he might have weeks, maybe months. The world stopped. He wanted to see you settled before... His mother started crying again. That's why he was pushing so hard for the marriage. He wanted to know you would be taken care of. Raj felt like he was drowning. All this time, his father's insistence on marriage hadn't been about tradition or control. It had been about love, about a dying man's desperate need to ensure his son wouldn't face the world alone. Can I see him? His father looked so small in the hospital bed, connected to machines that beeped and hummed around him. His eyes opened when Raj entered. Beta, you came back. Of course I came back, Papa. I'm sorry about the marriage pressure. Your mother told me what happened with Kavitha's family. Raj took his father's hand, surprised by how fragile it felt. Papa, why didn't you tell me you were sick? Because I didn't want my illness to be the reason you made important life decisions. But I was scared, Beta, scared of leaving you alone. I'm not alone, Papa. I have Priya. His eyes moved to the doorway where Priya stood quietly. Is she the one you love? Yes. His father studied Priya for a long moment, then smiled weakly. She came with you to the hospital, even though you hurt her. That tells me everything I need to know about her character. He looked back at Raj. Bring her here. When Priya approached the bed, his father reached for her hand with his free hand. I'm sorry, he said to her. I'm sorry my fear caused problems for your love. Priya's eyes filled with tears. Uncle, please don't apologize. Just focus on getting better. I want to see you married to my son, he said simply. Will you give a dying man that happiness?
The next few days passed in a strange bubble of time where normal life seemed suspended and only the essential remained. Raj took leave from work to stay at the hospital. Priya, despite having no official reason to be there, became part of the daily routine of caring for his father. She brought homemade food for his mother, helped coordinate with doctors, and somehow managed to make his father smile, even on the worst days. She's special, your Priya, his father told him one evening when she had gone home to get fresh clothes. She loves you not because of who you might become, but because of who you are. I almost lost her, Papa. But you didn't, and now you know what you have to fight for. His mother, initially resistant to Priya's presence, gradually warmed to her. It was impossible not to appreciate someone who showed up every day, who anticipated needs before they were expressed, who treated a stranger's father with the devotion of a daughter. She doesn't have to be here, his mother observed one afternoon as they watched Priya patiently help his father with his lunch. No, Raj agreed. She doesn't. That tells me she loves you very much, and more importantly, she loves us. The conversation Raj had been dreading came on Thursday evening. Priya had stayed late to help his mother with some errands, and when they were alone, she finally addressed what neither of them had spoken about directly. Your father is getting worse, isn't he? Raj nodded, not trusting his voice. The doctors think we have maybe 2 weeks. They sat in silence for a while, both understanding that this changed everything. I need to ask you something, Priya said finally. And I need you to be completely honest with me. Anything. If your father wasn't sick, would you have chosen me over your family's wishes? The question hung in the air between them like a test he couldn't fail twice. Yes, he said without hesitation, but I probably would have taken longer to find the courage. And now? Now I realize that loving someone means trusting them enough to share your struggles, not protecting them from them. Priya reached for his hand. I was hurt that you didn't tell me about the arranged marriage pressure, not because I was afraid to fight for us, but because I was afraid you didn't think I was worth fighting for. You're worth everything, Raj said, his voice breaking. You're worth disappointing parents, worth family arguments, worth every difficult conversation I should have had months ago. Then why does it feel like we're only together now because your father is dying? The brutal honesty of the question hit him like a physical blow, because part of him had wondered the same thing. Because grief makes everything feel temporary and conditional. He said slowly, but our love isn't conditional on tragedy, Priya.
It's conditional on us being brave enough to choose each other every day, even when it's hard. That night, his father's condition worsened. The family was called to the hospital at 2 a.m. and they spent the longest hours of their lives waiting for morning. Priya sat with Raj in the hospital corridor, their hands intertwined, both exhausted but unwilling to leave. "If he dies," Raj said quietly, "will you still marry me? If he lives, will you still choose me over easier options?" They looked at each other in the harsh fluorescent light of the hospital hallway, two people who had been forced to grow up fast and learn that love isn't just about feelings, it's about decisions. "Yes," they said simultaneously, and for the first time in days, both of them smiled. When morning came, his father was stable, weak but stable. The doctor was cautiously optimistic. "He's responded well to the new medication. We might have more time than we initially thought." That afternoon, as his father rested peacefully for the first time in days, he called Raj and Priya to his bedside. "I want you to get married next month," he said without preamble. "Papa, you need to focus on getting better." "I am focusing on what matters. I want to see my son marry the woman he loves. I want to dance at your wedding, even if it's the last dance I ever get to do." Priya started crying, but she was smiling too. "Besides," his father added with a weak grin, "your mother has already started planning. She's called the temple, the caterer, and half the relatives. Try stopping her now."
They were married 3 weeks later in a ceremony that was both smaller and more beautiful than anything they had originally planned. His father, against doctor's orders but with their reluctant blessing, walked Priya down the aisle when her own father couldn't make the journey from her village in time. It was a moment that left everyone in tears. This man who had initially opposed their union, now proudly presenting the woman his son loved to the sacred fire. "She's not losing a family," he announced to the gathered relatives. "She's gaining one. And we're not losing a son, we're gaining a daughter." The wedding was held in the small temple where Raj and Priya had spent so many Sunday mornings together. The same priest who had seen them pray side by side for 2 years now blessed their union with words that seemed to carry extra meaning after everything they had endured. "Love is not just a feeling," the priest said as he guided them through the ancient rituals. "Love is a commitment to choose each other again and again, through joy and sorrow, health and sickness, doubt and certainty." Raj looked at Priya as she repeated the vows, her voice clear and strong despite the tears on her cheeks. This woman had chosen to stay with him through the worst crisis of his life, have forgiven his cowardice, had won over his reluctant family with nothing but patience and kindness. When it was his turn to speak the vows, he added words that weren't part of the traditional ceremony. "I promise to trust you with my struggles, to share my fears instead of carrying them alone, and to never again mistake protection for love." His father, sitting in a wheelchair decorated with flowers, beamed with pride. The reception was held in the hospital courtyard, an unconventional venue that somehow felt perfect. Doctors and nurses joined the celebration during their breaks. His father's cardiologist even stayed after his shift to congratulate the couple. "In 30 years of medicine," the doctor told them, "I've seen how healing happens. Love is the best medicine, but it only works when people are brave enough to take it." As the evening wound down and guests began to leave, Raj found himself alone with his father for a few minutes. "Thank you, Papa." "For what?" "For pushing me toward an arranged marriage that forced me to realize how much I loved Priya. For getting sick in a way that made us both grow up. For showing me what it looks like to fight for what matters." His father laughed, a sound that was weaker than before, but no less warm. "I didn't plan any of that, beta. I was just a scared old man who wanted his son to be happy. I am happy. We both are. Good, because that's all any parent really wants." 6 months later, his father was still defying medical expectations. The experimental treatment was working better than anyone had hoped, and while he would never be completely healthy again, he was stable enough to return to a modified version of normal life. Raj and Priya moved into a small apartment near her school, the same one where she had originally planned to teach. She never did transfer permanently to Chennai. The principal was so happy to have her back that he threw a welcome party that lasted until midnight. "I learned something important while I was away," she told her students on her first day back. "Sometimes running away from problems doesn't solve them.
Sometimes you have to stay and fight for what you believe in. Raj learned something important too. He learned to share his worries with Priya instead of carrying them alone, to ask for her opinion before making decisions that affected both of them, and to trust that love is stronger when it's tested rather than protected. Their first fight as a married couple came 3 months after the wedding, when Raj got a job offer from a company in Mumbai that would double his salary. "We should at least consider it," he said over dinner. "Your father just got stable and you want to move to another city?" Raj might have made the decision alone or tried to convince her by highlighting only the benefits. Instead, he said, "You're right. I was thinking about the money without considering what matters more. What do you think we should do?" They talked for hours, weighing pros and cons, discussing dreams and priorities. In the end, they decided to stay in Bengaluru, but the conversation itself felt like a victory. "We're going to be okay," Priya said as they cleaned up the dinner dishes together. "How do you know?" "Because we're not afraid to disagree with each other anymore, and we're not afraid to change our minds when the other person makes sense." A year after the wedding, they received news that changed their perspective on everything. Priya was pregnant. "Are you ready for this?" she asked Raj as they looked at the positive test together. "I have no idea," he said honestly, "but I'm ready to figure it out with you." His father cried when they told him he was going to be a grandfather. Happy tears this time, the kind that come from realizing you'll get to see more of the future than you thought possible. "What will you name the baby?" he asked. "If it's a girl," Priya said, "Asha." "Hope," his father translated. "Perfect." 2 years later, as Raj watched his father play with little Asha in the same courtyard where they had held their wedding reception, he realized that the story he had once thought was about choosing between love and duty was actually about learning that the deepest love includes duty and the truest duty includes love. "What are you thinking about?" Priya asked, settling beside him with 2 cups of tea. "I'm thinking that if someone had told me 3 years ago that I would be this happy, I wouldn't have believed him." "Why not?" "Because I thought happiness was something that happened to you, not something you created by making brave choices over and over again. And now, I know that the best love stories aren't about people who never face problems. They're about people who face problems together and come out stronger." In the distance, his father was teaching Asha to clap her hands while his mother sang an old lullaby. The evening air was filled with the sounds of traffic, neighborhood children playing, and life continuing in all its messy, beautiful complexity. "I love our story," Priya said softly. "Even the difficult parts, especially the difficult parts, they're what made us who we are." As the sun set over Bengaluru, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, Raj realized that happy endings aren't really endings at all. They're beginnings. Beginnings of choosing love every day, of building trust through honesty, of creating a family not just through blood, but through commitment. The phone call from his cousin came that evening just as they were putting Asha to bed. "Rajbhai, I have news about Kavita." "Oh?" Raj hadn't thought about Kavita in months. "She got married last month, love marriage actually. She met someone at her office and decided to fight for him the way you fought for Priya." After he hung up, he shared the news with Priya. "I'm happy for her," Priya said, and meant it. "Everyone deserves to find their person." "Do you think we inspired her somehow?" "Maybe. Or maybe she just learned what we learned, that the bravest thing you can do is choose love, even when it's complicated." That night, as they lay in bed listening to Asha's peaceful breathing from the next room, Raj thought about all the moments that had led them to this point. The rain against his window the night he received his mother's message, Priya's devastated face when she found out about the arranged marriage meeting, his father's weak hand reaching for theirs in the hospital. Each moment had felt like an ending at the time, but they had all been beginnings in disguise. "Priya, huh? Thank you for not giving up on us, even when I gave up on us. Thank you for finally trusting me enough to share your struggles." They fell asleep holding hands the way they had on that long night in the hospital corridor when they had promised to choose each other every day. Outside their window, Bengaluru hummed with the dreams of 8 million people, each one hoping for love, fighting for happiness, learning that the most beautiful stories aren't written by avoiding conflict, but by walking through it together. And in a small apartment near a government school, a family slept peacefully, proof that sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones where ordinary people make extraordinary choices.